Hello, I'm Maria from the Richardson's Homeschool Live. Remember the other week when we had a walk along the riverbank and the fields, our favourite walk? We looked up at the castle, which I said was Tutbury Castle. Well, here we are. Today we've come to visit the castle because it's hosting the World War II reenactment. Normally in Tutbury, it takes over the village, the reenactment. You've got all World War II things down the villages, all the flags in the shops, the jeeps parked in the villages. Oh, just a little word about this little bit here. This was the original entrance to the castle where Mary, Queen of Scots, would have come up. Just wanted to tell you that, if you wonder why I filmed it. But yeah, normally it takes over, but because of the Jubilee celebrations this weekend, they've just got it inside the castle because the village is being done up for the celebrations. So as you can see, we've come inside the castle and here we are. Some of the things that they've got, some things are replicas, some things are real. I'm not sure what is what. I had a read, but Sean was more interested in this than me. One of the reasons that we came up was because Sean was interested. So, yeah, we're about to go in now through what we call John o' Gaunt's Gateway, although originally it wasn't built by John o' Gaunt. Nice old tractor. Just see my son shooting for his video, so no doubt there'll be a video out about that if you watch SAR Histories. I love the old trucks and vans. I think they're great. The only thing missing was the music. I'd have liked some like Glenn Miller or some nice music from the era, you know, Vera Lynn or something like that playing in the background, but it was pretty quiet. There wasn't nothing like that going on, which is a shame really, because it'd have made it quite atmospheric. It's the first one I've been to actually in Tutbury, and I've seen them in the village every year. Every May bank holiday they come and they're in the village and sort of takes over the village. It has that feel of going back in time. But it's the first time I've been into the castle to see what they do in the castle. I came with my son and daughter-in-law, who's been before, and they said this year there wasn't quite as much as there was before. But I'm presuming it's because of the Jubilee weekend. A lot of efforts are being put into that, and you know, other things are a bit scant. But all in all, it was a really good time, and education-wise, to go to a reenactment is really good, whether you home educate your child or whether your child goes to school. It's sort of hands-on and they can see things, they can talk to the reenactors and, well, saying reenactors, there's old people there who remember things from the time of the war, in this case. And they'll talk to you and tell you things, so it is good for the children to have a chat with them, see what they've got to talk about. Unfortunately though for Sean, she's really shy and she won't really talk to anybody. We tried to get her to have a go, well, take part in some bits and pieces that they'd let you do, like holding things and whatnot. But she was too shy. No, she'll say. So there she is with my granddaughter. Yeah, they had a wander around on their own. They like sitting up at the top of the folly because Sean likes photography at the moment and get some beautiful pictures, because as you know, when we took that walk the other day, we were looking up at the castle. Well, the folly that you could see in the far background, they went up there and she could see right down to where we'd been, and further you could see right across the Dovedale on a clear day, and she got some lovely pictures up there, and that's the folly up there that they went and sat up. I don't go up because I don't like heights. There is a couple of towers in the castle. One's really high but hasn't been used for a few years. I don't know if it's because it's dangerous or very narrow, and given all the COVID problems and that, whether it's just not suitable to go up at the moment. But there is another smaller tower, but that was closed off. There it is ahead of us, you can see it where the flag's flying, you can go up there. They were the original apartments that Mary, Queen of Scots first stayed in when she was first imprisoned at the castle. Apparently she was imprisoned 4 times. I used to think it was only 2, but they were saying no, it was 4 times she was in prison there, and they were her first apartments. They would have been spectacular in the heyday. I'll show you there in a minute. So yeah, they that was closed off the tower, and they had a lone piper playing up there in the afternoon, and it was really nice playing the bagpipes. Lovely sound. It was really nice. I didn't get to film that, unfortunately. It sort of came upon me suddenly, and I wasn't ready, and I was drinking a cup of tea at the time at the cafe, so I wasn't ready for it. This is the remains of the chapel. Off my head, I think it's 12th century. Might be wrong, somebody might correct me on that. That's just off my head. But they still do weddings in there. They are licensed at Tutbury Castle to have weddings, and I've seen pictures of people who have actually married in there. They've put fold-up chairs in there, and the person marrying them have had them at the front, and they've still done weddings, which is really nice. St Cromwell tried to have this castle destroyed because it was a royalist castle, and he did fail. Although he destroyed lots of it, it's still, in use today. Hosts lots of functions, and it still belongs to the Queen. It's the Queen's castle. So I believe they're having a do up there on Thursday as well. They're lighting a beacon on Thursday, but not going to that. That's the high tower to climb up. I would never go up the towers, too frightened of heights. When I was small, I remember going up, but now I look back now, having a children of my own, I think, how on earth did my mum let me go up there? The old bikes, they were really good, and the jeeps. The bikes, there's quite a lot of them about, and there was people riding them. Young children were riding them, dressed in 1940s clothing, and they were just riding the bikes around. And they looked really good. The tents and things. So yeah, each area was like a different country, represented a different country. So Sean was going around taking pictures of each one with the flags, saying which country they represented. But I wasn't very good at it because I thought that the Americans was Australians. I didn't even look at the flag, I just looked at the hats they got on. I said, oh, are they Australians? And promptly got laughed at because they were Americans. And the bikes, they were good. But they had some really good bits and pieces there. This was the medic bit, and this was like a model, and they called him George. And they lifted the blanket and showed us, I don't think I've got it on film, but they lifted the blanket and opened up the shirt, and they had like intestines. They were like cotton packed intestines, and pulled them out and said, poor old George, he's having a bad day. It was really good though, how they'd done it all. And the model looked quite realistic. It was really good. This is inside the original apartments that Mary Queen of Scots stayed in. I like fireplaces, a lonely fireplace up there. I wonder when the last fire was lit in that fireplace. It's got some nice carvings, but because I film with my phone, it doesn't really pick everything up, and the weather is ruining it. I wish they'd put a roof on it, really. And another thing of interest is graffiti. If you can look and focus on some, they've got some really old graffiti. It's better when you go up the towers along the bottoms and, well, going all the way up, but I don't go all the way. But they've got really old graffiti like this with the dates on. There's an 1857 one in here, but they've got a lot saying 1800s, and, that's as historic itself, some of this graffiti is now. But that would have been the room, there'd have been the undervaults and the chambers above. But yeah, it's a shame. I wish they'd put a roof in it. There's another building exactly the same as this on the other side, but that's just, they're open to the elements. Now this is inside the building. We call it farmhouse because it was a farm once upon a time. It's a brick building. It wouldn't have been the original part of the castle, but it's been stood a good few hundred years, and it has been a farmhouse. But now Leslie Smith is the curator of Tutbury Castle, and she's had it all done out. It's really nice in here, and they've got some original pieces. I've taken photos, pictures of the dresses. These are what Leslie Smith actually wears when she dresses up in character. That's what the last building would have looked like Mary Queen of Scots stayed in. That was in front of the large tower. And that's what the castle would have looked like in its heyday. And again, some more of, I was going to say Mary Queen of Scots, Leslie Smith's outfits that she wears. when she dresses up. So yeah, Tutbury Castle wasn't the best castle. Mary Queen of Scots complained about it. It was cold, windy, damp, miserable. It was horrid conditions. She hated it. She really hated it. There's one of the coins. The curator's husband, I think he's a coin dealer in London. Something to do with history in the museums. So they've got some nice coins in there. Again, more dresses. They told me which dress was which, and I can't tell you because I can't remember. I know that says "Don't touch me," because she did say, I think it was Anne Boleyn, it wore a pendant round her neck, and it was saying "Don't touch me." Now we've come on to something else. We changed quickly there, haven't we? That's my filming for you. This is the garden. I'm going to give you a garden vlog. I feel a bit of a cad now because I've gone from one thing, really getting into that, and I've suddenly gone into my garden. But yeah, this month we do the garden collaboration, which is hosted by Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads. But due to unforeseen circumstances, it's not likely to be held this month. It'll probably be the end of June now. But I thought, well, I said to her, I'm just going to give a show of my garden on the end of the video I was just doing, and just so you can see how it's all progressing. And I'm going to put on everybody who normally takes part in the collab, the people who did last month, so you can go across and have a look at their channel. They're enjoyable, they're worth a watch, even if they've not put in anything on about the garden. I mean, they may do, they may just add a little something on like I've done, but if not, it's worth going across and having a watch at their channels anyway. And like I said, it's always hosted by Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads. So I'll pop it into my links down below, and then you can go and have a look. So yeah, I'm showing you around the patio area, and the mint needs cutting, and you've just seen a rose coming on my rose bush, and the camellia is growing nicely. These are marigolds and pansies that are from my greenhouse that we've now planted out, starting to fill out, and that's the fairy garden. That's been trampled on a lot by the cats, and they keep knocking the ornaments over, so I'm not winning that battle. Again, they were pansies that self-planted themselves from last year, and we've just added some of the marigolds to it, so it'll fill out. And strawberries, these are the new ones that are in my vertical plant, and look at them, how they're coming on. And again, the Tom Thumb lettuces, they're all growing nicely. The strawberries, I'm really taken by them. And the leaves, the red leaves on top, they're really growing well. But the very top of it is a bit strange because they're not growing as fast as the rest, and I thought they'd be the fastest because they're getting the most light. But it doesn't matter, it's nice they're coming a bit separately because, you know, I'm not going to use them all in one go. The dahlias that are growing in the pot, and more of the marigolds. And that's the rhubarb. It's its first year, but I've got some good sticks on there. They say don't chop it down in the first year, but I'm thinking maybe I might do. Maybe I might do. More of my marigolds. See, last year when I bought those other rhubarbs and I left them, didn't chop them, they all died away. So this year I'm thinking, well, what does it matter really? I'm just focusing on there because I can see a head coming on that, so it shouldn't be long before they're in flower. Now, I'm a bit concerned about my bamboo. Do you think that it's looking a bit sparse in the leaf department? I'm sure the leaves are falling off. They used to have a lot of leaves and it's well watered, but it just seems to be dying back. It's not doing very well at all. I think it needs a bigger pot. I don't know. More of the strawberries. These are the old ones, the bitter ones, as Sean calls them. And that's my calendula. That's growing nicely now. The cats had jumped on that and knocked it a few times, but it's coming on lovely now. I think that's some pansies in there, but I think something else needs to be put in there. It's a bit bare. I've got the sweet peas along here, they're struggling a bit, and the sunflowers. Now, there's a few sunflowers you see in front of us that are growing nicely, but then the ones at the side got damaged by the wind, and the ones on the other side of that clematis, they are damaged. and the sweet peas are struggling a bit on that side. We're not having very good weather. It's been all rain and wind, and it's quite cold today. I've had the heating on and put my cardigan on, so the weather's not doing very good. But this bit here, I'm thinking of filling that bit in to try and make a windbreak to stop the wind coming, because it howls around that corner. So I'm going to try and stop it if I can. I don't know what I'll put there, and it probably won't be this year, but if I can do something in time for next year, I'll have a think about it during the rest of the year. I don't really want to block it in, but if there's just something I can put there, you know, just to prevent the wind, because it does damage everything. Now here is more of the marigolds I put in, and those are the little pansies that self-seeded. That's the raspberry bush that was in a pot last year, and they are the blackberries that were in a pot last year. They've never really grown much, but they're not dying yet, so we'll carry on. That's a new blackberry bush that I bought this year, and that's looking really good. It's got lots of leaves coming on that. Now here is the one and only pumpkin. I put it there, the wind blew it and blasted it, and then something ate the leaves, and that's all that's left of the only pumpkin that survived. So I don't think we'll be having pumpkins again this year. That's 2 years running now we've not been able to have pumpkins. And before that we had loads. We used to grow them in the garden and the allotment. We had loads. Here we've got the potatoes. There's the first earlies, then there's the second earlies, and in front of them is the main crop. But they're growing so thick and lush that unless I knew which was which, you wouldn't know. So I'm not sure what the difference is supposed to be. I thought first earlies you get an early crop of potatoes, second earlies is your next crop, and your main crop is your summer crop, you know, but I've just got a feeling they're all going to crop together. I don't really know. I've only ever planted potatoes that have seeded themselves before, so I don't really know what to expect. Here is where the daffodils were. We put in some pansy seeds, and that I'm pointing to are sunflower seeds. I planted some miniature sunflower seeds, so I'm hoping we get some little small sunflowers, which would be quite nice because it'll attract the bees to pollinate things, and also like the marigolds in the little hanging pots along the fence. So I want to try and attract bees, and you can see they're coming up quite nice. I just put them straight in the ground because I do think if you can put seeds straight in the ground, it's far better and they're far stronger and more chance of survival, I often think, than the ones that I keep transplanting out from the greenhouse. So I think next year I'm going to try and put more directly into the ground and see what we can do. Now this is a pansy, somehow seeded itself. I think it must have fallen out one of them hanging pots last year. I dropped in and they've reseeded. One's got a yellow flower coming on and one's got a purple flower, and they're doing well, so I just left them. Might as well. And here's a couple of dahlias that are grown in the pots. Some people say they lift their tubers over winter, but I never have. I've just left them and they grow all the time. I've never had no trouble. There's also gladioli grown in with them as well. There's the onions. The top ones are the red onions at the back, and in front of them is the white onions. And this row here is my garlic, my row of garlic. Now I did have a few behind it, but I can't see that coming through. But this little row's doing all right, so I'm not going to grumble. In the space in front is bare, so I'm going to put my leeks in there. This is the little golden pheasants. There's 4 of them. Feeding time for them. Here is my cucumbers. I planted 4, but only 3 grew, 1 died. They're doing really well. And as you can see at the bottom, we've had to put mesh along the bottom, sit the pots on mesh, because we get slugs. And they are terrible for the cucumbers. And along that we've also sprinkled ant powder, because the ants like to climb up and chew on the leaves. And since we've done that, we've had no problem. They're doing really well. Here, I can't remember which one this was now. It might have been thyme, I'm not sure. But there, I'm going to chuck them. I probably could eat the leaves, but they've overgrown, and I'm going to give them to the birds to eat. Got my peppers, 3 survive. They're very slow growing. Something else the ants like to eat, so I've got them high on a shelf. Until they're so big I can't keep them on there no more, and I have to put them in another pot. Then I'll see what I can do with them. But they're very spindly. They don't grow so well with me. That's just some onion seeds I'd left from last year. They grow, I'll plant them somewhere. That's the basil. All them must go in the vertical planter. I bought a new, well, I haven't had one for my birthday. And that's some, was it thyme? I can't remember now what it was. But anyway, I've got a plant of them, vertical planter. Spare cauliflowers and things. There's the birds again. They've just been fed and watered while I was in the greenhouse. And they're like that. They're quite nice. They're growing quite big, getting feathers. So I'll have to see if I can sell them. I don't know what we'll do with them. The green beans, they're growing up the poles. They're doing really well. Not planted so many this year, so don't want to get overrun with them. The raspberries, they're coming on good. Got lots of raspberries forming on them. Perhaps see some in a minute. There we go, look. Lots of raspberries forming on them. They're looking really good and healthy, except for one at the end. There's one plant at the end that seems to have died off. It started growing, not as good as the others, but look at it now. I don't know what's killed it or why it's died. I've left it there because there's those new little raspberry shoots, so I don't know if they're attached to it, so I've left it. The peas, they're grown really well. So today I planted peas on the other side. So they should grow later and I'll have a good crop. And the carrots in front, as you can see, were growing. These are the broad beans. There's just 4 sticks of them. They're coming on really nice, and the rest are runner beans. Now, sweet corn, I've been having trouble with that. This is the 3rd lot of sweet corn. Just excuse me while I wrap that round. But yeah, the 3rd lot of sweet corn. I grew 2 lots. Neither lots grew. So the 3rd lot, I thought, oh, blah, I'm just going to put some seeds into the ground. They'll grow or they won't grow. And they're coming up. And this is what I say about putting seeds in the ground. They take longer, but they come up and they're stronger. And they seem better for survival. They're hardier, I suppose, because they're outdoors. So I think next year I'll grow more outdoors from seed. The lettuces, they're ready now for use. Shan't need to buy no more lettuces for the summer. The spring onions are in there, coming slowly. That needs a weeding. Got to weed it all. Actually, after I just filmed this, I was going to go and weed it, but the heavens opened and it really rained. So I'll have to wait. That's the broccoli, and the first one, that's coming on really nice. And next to it, we've got the Brussels sprouts. Again, they're growing nicely. I won't be leaving the lids like this open to film it in another month or so, because while I'm doing that, I'll be having the butterflies going. That's the cauliflower. They were late growing, so they're late planting, but they'll catch up no problem. I had one missing at the end, but I have since put another one in. When I finished filming, I gave one to Dean. He put it in for me because he was closing the lids. That's the cabbages. They're looking really good. I can remember saying all this last year, and then along came the butterflies and the caterpillars. Oh, so like I say, I don't know how I'll show them to you once the caterpillar's out and about. We'll have to see. So here we've got the beetroot on one side, and then we've got swede on the other side. I have thinned the swede out, so it should grow big enough for what we need anyway. But yeah, they're really growing fast. I think being under the covers is helping them to grow a lot faster. And we've got the parsnips here. And we were having trouble with them at first, to be honest. I mean, if you remember me saying, the seeds kept coming up all the time. They kept coming to the surface and we kept poking them in, and like this for ages. And then suddenly they just took off. So everything's looking good. But I'm going to have to work out a way of showing you once the butterflies are about. I'm not going to leave the lids open to show you like this. Whether I'll be able to just lift them and have a sneak, I don't know. We'll see. Do you like my scarecrow? Got him from B&M, £5. I just thought it was so cute, so I put him there on the end. shouldn't be in the way of the peas when they grow. But yeah, I thought it looked rather cute. So yeah, that's the garden. Like I say, you can see the sweet corn again there a bit better, how it's growing. Got the plants along here. I got a tree, well not a tree, a plant there. It blossomed, it grew leaves, the buds, and a few leaves came and the rest seems to have died. If it doesn't come back, I'll just have to throw it. I think it's died. And my clematis is open. I really like this clematis. Beautiful pattern. It's really nice. These are some of the first olives. They're massive, nearly as big as me, but I think flowers are forming now, so they shouldn't be far off getting ready. And we've got the tomatoes. Now these are taking a bit of a battering as well, because the way the wind comes along here, you can see the bottom leaves are taking a bit of a battering. I mean, they do say that take the bottom leaves off anyway for healthy growth, but I'd rather do it myself than have the wind batter them off, because that's going to cause more damage. But as we come further along the row, we see one there, but as we come further up, the top ones aren't too bad. I think the bottom ones are sort of breaking it for them a bit. But yeah, they're all different tomatoes. I've got 2 cherries, 2 plums, 2 giant ones, can't remember the name, and 2 money makers. So I'm hoping, because I've got rid of the others now, I'm hoping that these don't die, that they survive. I mean, it's June on Wednesday. I want some nice weather and not all this heavy wind and rain. But you see along here, this is where the wind gushes through. I'm wondering if I could put something against the fence there. This is what I was saying to Dean. Maybe we should see if we can get something to try and break the wind a bit. But I've never taken you down here before as part of the garden. We put that there, stop the dog going through, or be get through the back and going next door, but there's nothing really down there. There's just enough room for him to paint the fence, which needs doing. That's a storage shed, stores all the Christmas decorations. It's a really big shed, that is, really big shed. It's a good, strong, solid one. Yeah, that's all the tomatoes. I just hope they grow. This planted itself, self-seeded from last year, and look at it, beautiful. And they're the ones that we've put in from the greenhouse. I mean, they look so spindly. Then I look back at the one that self-seeded itself, and you can really tell the difference. Really tell the difference. I think things are far better just put in the ground. We put a few pansies in there as well. And again, there's the marigolds going along the fence. My clematis here, it's usually beautiful and goes across the trellis, but the wind's blown it, it bent it over. Luckily it didn't snap, and so Dean's had to tie it, but it's reaching out now. It goes across them lights quite often in the summer, because we've got all the summer lights out now, so at least it looks a bit summery even if we haven't got the sunshine. But yeah, we've had to sort of tie it up, so I don't know how nice and colourful that will look this year. We'll have to see. So that's it for this week. Like I was saying during the vlog, the gardening collab will probably take place back to normal again at the end of June, but I just thought I'd give you a quick show round, see how it's going. And to be honest, I haven't looked in the boxes for probably about a week, and Dean's been watering them and it's been raining, so I've not had cause to look in them. And I'm quite amazed myself how well things are growing. They're doing really well, so it was quite nice to go around and have a look myself, because sometimes you get busy, you do things, this, that and the other, and you know, you neglect other things. So I'd not been out for about a week. So yeah, that's it for this week and for what's happening in the garden, and also what we did over the weekend. Now this weekend is the Jubilee. Do you know, my mind went blank then. It's the Jubilee weekend, and there's going to be lots of things going on everywhere. I didn't show you my decorations actually. I'll just whiz around, just show you what I've got. So I've got decorations on the ceiling, the crepe streamers. I love crepe streamers. We have them for all events. So yeah, I've got them and the banner going across there. And then we did some It was supposed to be me and Sean doing these paper chains, but it ended up being me because Sean went off playing, so it just ended up being me. But yeah, we've done them, and on the front we've got the Union Jacks hanging a flag and some more streamers like you see in front of me, but a longer one and a triangular shaped. All I've got left to go up now, actually, and I nearly forgot about them, but I wanted to do them nearer to the weekend, is the balloons. So I'll probably blow them up Wednesday and put them up on Wednesday. So yeah, that's the decorations we've got up, and perhaps have a little buffet or something. So that's it really, that's it. I can't think of nothing else to tell you. Now, I was going to do a book review. I was saying last Tuesday about a book review because Sean's finished Candy Floss and she's starting a new book. But I've spent so much time doing different things with you on this vlog. You don't want to sit watching me forever, and people don't have the time to sit watching people all day long. So what I'll do that next Tuesday, because we'll be back homeschooling. As you know, Sean follows school holidays, so she's off this week anyway. So we'll do it next Tuesday when I come back with next Tuesday's homeschool vlog, and we'll have a quick review of how we liked Candy Floss and also what she's reading next. And she perhaps will have made a start on it by the time we come back on Tuesday. So yeah, that's it. So like I said before, I'm going to leave a link down below to the other people that normally take part, and people took part last month in the gardening vlogs. I don't know if anybody will give you a quick show around the garden if they're doing a vlog and have a quick look around the garden. I don't know, or it might be next month because people's circumstances don't always allow it. So I'll put the links down anyway, so you know who the people are that normally take part, and it's good to have a look at their channels. They do some great stuff on there. You don't have to go just for the gardening vlogs. Go and take a look round anyway. And like I say, Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads, she normally hosts the garden vlogs, and definitely go check her channel out, and that's great. It's a really good channel with a bit of all sorts in it, as most of them have. So yeah, that'll be it for this week then. So have a really brilliant weekend, because we've got a long bank holiday and most people are off. Not everybody's off, but most people are off. There'll be lots of things going on everywhere up and down Britain, the UK. So enjoy whatever you're doing. I hope the weather stays nice for everybody. Enjoy yourselves and stay safe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye.